I was in the other room and we had this, unfortunately, Trump rally on. A bunch of campaigning going on today, so we'll have lots of segments about Harris rallies, but then also Trump rallies. And in this one in Gastonia, North Carolina, Donald Trump said something that made me walk back into the room where the computer was on and go, did he really say that? Even for him, that is a wild thing to admit, to say into a microphone in front of a crowd. Now, I'll show you these clips. Then we have to get to what you've probably already seen, but we'll discuss it, which is what happened last night. And Trump today better be doing some damage control based on the disastrous rally he had last night, where he just freaked out on stage. And I guess it's not really, the day's not off to a good start, given that he's admitting how much he wants this country to do poorly for his own political purposes. While you're watching this clip, please remember to click that subscribe button. We are now, I forget the exact number, but getting pretty close to 950,000 subscribers. That means we're this close to 1 million. Help us get there if you're not subscribed. Thank you so much to everyone who is, and the crazy amount per day who have been subscribing. Here's Trump in North Carolina.
Well, wait a minute. You just saw, you were going to go over it in a second, the worst numbers I've ever seen. How good was that? To get those numbers 4 days before the vote was, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, you would have liked that on one of your races, wouldn't you? But no, to get those numbers, we had the worst numbers, I think, maybe like sort of ever. And they were like 4 days. And I want people to remember.
I know he says stuff like that behind the scenes. I'll give you the context of what he's referencing here in a second. We'll also get to him insulting Kamala, but then accidentally having a brain glitch while he's insulting Kamala's cognitive functioning, which is just one of his weaker arguments. But a couple things there. Honestly, the second being, it's crazy to say the jobs report he's talking about is the worst ever. That's just not even close to true, because we've had recessions. And so we would be losing jobs. We're still gaining them. But the first point is, it's sort of like when he goes, oh, if there's going to be an economic crash, let it be under Biden. Please, it would be great if it were under Biden. Or while Harris is running. And behind the scenes, when this report came out, I know he went, yes. But to, in front of a crowd, admit you root against them, you root against our country. You like when you get news that you think will be painful for people, is not as good economically, so that it will hurt your political rival. Psychotic. You should be rooting for the country above all else. So what's being referred to here, as the Associated Press reports, U.S. employers added just 12,000 jobs last month as hurricanes and strikes sharply reduced payrolls. And if you dive into it, that's what you learn. There's extenuating circumstances that make it less concerning that these numbers were so low. And I am pretty confident next month we're going to get a much better report. America's employers added just 12,000 jobs in October, a total that economists say was held down by the effects of strikes and hurricanes that left many workers temporarily off payrolls. The report provided a somewhat blurry view of the job market at the end of a presidential race that, of course, is wrapped up in the economy. Last month's hiring gain was down significantly from 223,000 jobs that were added in September, because economists have estimated that Hurricanes Helene and Milton, combined with the strikes at Boeing and elsewhere, had the effect of pushing down net job growth by tens of thousands of jobs in October. But Friday's report from the Labor Department also showed that the unemployment rate remained at 4.1% last month. The low jobless rate suggests that the labor market is still fundamentally healthy, if not as robust as it was earlier this year, combined with an inflation rate that was tumbled from its 2022 peak to near pre-pandemic levels. The overall economy appears to be on solid footing on the eve of Election Day. And that's the huge takeaway. When looking at inflation, the GDP growth that we saw last quarter, and this admittedly weak job report, you still have a broader picture of a really strong economy. And I'd feel pretty confident saying that we'll see an uptick next month. Unemployment still low. That's great. Inflation down. And that soft landing that we've talked so much about, that we've nailed as a country compared to other countries across the world trying to recover from the pandemic, where you bring down inflation, you stop this crazy spike in prices that came of all these conditions while not throwing the country into a recession. It's a very walk in a fence type of deal, very difficult, and we've done it very well. And this report does not change that, especially given the context that was laid out in that article. But Trump admitting he likes hearing bad economic news, even if it's not as bad as he's portraying it to be. And that's his priority over people just getting good news about their lives and jobs. Disgusting. Then he tried to insult Vice President Kamala Harris here, but then insulted himself on accident.
They say, what are you going to do about the economy? Well, I grew up in a grass piece of land. I had a backyard that had grass on it. Remember the debate? She said, I grew up with grass on my front yard and some grass on my back. And I'm saying, what the hell is going on here? See, I have a little more aptitude for this. I'm really good at this shit. So let me just, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drill, baby, drill like you've never seen.
Even though we're already doing that like we've never seen before because we're at record levels. But there he says at the debate, Vice President Harris said something about having grass on her lawn or something. Grass in her yard. No, that's not at all what he's thinking of. The answer, it's weird to keep up so much with this individual, painfully so, that I'll know what he's trying to say when he can't get it out. He's actually referencing a local ABC interview where, because she kept getting the criticism, this was right after the debate, sort of that period, right as she was ramping up interviews in the campaign process, she was getting the criticism that people didn't really know her well. And so she would start a lot of her answers to questions, really regardless of the question, laying out her background. I'm a middle-class kid. My dad took a lot of pride in his lawn, and sort of that's something that informed me about working people and this, that, and the other thing. And then she would lead that up, and then MAGA would cut off the clips right before she got to. So that being my upbringing, that being how I was informed to care about these things, here are my main 4 policies to address affordability, which was the question. But he's talking about an interview, and he says, do you remember at the debate Kamala Harris said that? She didn't. You're the one misremembering that, and you're doing so while criticizing her cognitive functioning, which, by even as objective as we can get on this analyses of the two individuals, do I even have to say this? It's quite obvious. It is Trump who's experiencing the decline. Harris is doing just fine. Again, I don't have to argue that. You can just watch the two of them operate, and I think you'll come to the same conclusion. Then this rally today, we noticed he was trying to stay a little bit more on script, even though it's impossible for him, given that the big story from last night was that he had a complete temper tantrum freak out, leading to him, well, doing this.
So, I had to go.
Some people, not me, some people said that this looked like a sexual act of some kind.
So, I had to go. So, I had to go.
I don't know what people are referring to. Clearly, he's just upset with the distance of the mic stand to where he's speaking. And at this rally, before getting to a compilation of all the insanity, you had Trump speaking
9 seconds
while people behind him were getting exhausted and leaving. Something Trump insists never happens. But here is a recap of what took place in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think the mic stinks. Fix the mic. You gotta be kidding. I get so angry. I'm up here seething. I'm seething. I'm working my ass off with this stupid mic. Do you want to see me knock the hell out of people backstage?
So now we're to the, oh my gosh. Now we're to the part of the rally where he's threatening staff members.
Well, the mic at Madison Square Garden worked very well. I'm blowing out my left arm. Now I'm going to blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat, too. It's like
Blowing out my damn throat. What is he talking about? What?
So I had to go.
Really interesting wording.
I'm weightlifting suckers on my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat, too. It's like I'm weightlifting suckers heavy. I've never held a microphone up so long in my damn life. Hello? I don't think so. On the planet, and this mic is much heavier than the other one, I will tell you. Hello? Is that better? Is that better? I can build up my muscle. That's terrible.
I would say this is a good recap. This right here, let's see, is the state of Trump's campaign.
That's terrible. What crap. The only thing I asked for is a mic. Then I walk in like this, and did you notice? I was bending over like this. Hello. He's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. What a shame.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. If you're trying to push back against the allegation that you're not physically fit enough or mentally fit, but even just physically, maybe complaining about holding what, a 2-pound microphone, is that what it is? Something that politicians do constantly and walk around on stage like this. It's not that difficult. And going, I'm blowing out my arm and I'm blowing out my throat. Maybe not the best way to assure people you're fit enough for the job. With all the criticisms of President Joe Biden and his age, remember, okay, he had one little debacle one time on the bike, but regardless, he has been showing himself to be someone who can bike around. Trump, I've not seen him on a bike anytime in the last very long time, ever. But that would probably be a struggle if it's a struggle for him to hold a microphone. Let me know what you thought. Crazy stuff, huh? In the comments, get the bonus show by clicking that join button below.